Welcome back from that break. This morning, we are going to turn our attention to a community in the northern region, Yong, Dakpemyili, where students and teachers have to suffer the plight of studying in dilapidated classrooms. The classroom structures are so bad that they are near to collapse. And I mean, we've sat here or made reports about such issues where we see schools under trees. Students have to carry their chairs and furniture when the clouds start forming because of fear of the rains coming down and all of that. And this is no different. This is another sad situation in the northern region. And we talk about it every now and then, but I don't know whether the authorities are just paying deaf ears to it or they just don't really care about what the children are going through. And Kweku, I'm very much concerned because these are children. These are our future leaders. In 10, 20 years from now, these are the people that will be looking up to occupy positions to, drive our country to a better place. So if they are going through this to access something as basic as education, which is their right, it's very, very disturbing.
Yeah,
very
it is,
disturbing.
and it is on different levels. So there's the global challenge of education. As the world becomes more technologically advanced, it literally shrinks in terms of the connections between us and other people, right? We become closer to other people in terms of technology, in terms of how fast we can, go. Like, back in the day, if you're traveling from England to Ghana, it takes months, right? Right now, in a few hours, you're there.
Right.
So the world is shrinking in that sense, which means that we need to become more competitive as a people, right? Now, what happens is, if this is what people are experiencing in places in Ghana, right, and this in this case is in the north of Ghana, if this is what you're experiencing, you're having to compete not just with other people in the north of Ghana, they're competing with other people in Ghana, in Accra, in Kumasi, in other places, right? Then they're also competing with people across the continent of Africa and the rest of the world. This is the reality of it, right? So if we don't do right by them, by giving them the most basic things that will allow them to actually have a fair footing, a fair playing field to compete, what are we doing? What are we doing as a people, And so for me, I think one of the things that we need to really look at and look at strongly is just a fair playing field across the country for everyone.
Right.
Now, you can't solve all the problems at once, right? But there has to be a policy that says the minimum for every primary school is this. The minimum for every JHS is this. The minimum for every SHS is this. And insist on lifting up everybody to that level. Now, if you go beyond that level, good for you. But there should be a basic minimum. And I say that elimination of school under trees is one. Also, there's no reason why people should be in a building, students should be in a building that's become a death trap.
Yeah.
It's illogical.
Yeah.
It should not happen. And so the district district assembly is watching. What are they doing? The Ghana Health Service, the Ghana Education Service, is watching. What are they doing?
Are we waiting?
It's unacceptable.
Are we waiting for the worst to happen before we send NADMO there to make reports and all of that? And when I saw this report, it is not just about even the school building being in a bad shape. There's the issue of lack of furniture, so the students have to sit like in threes on one small desk. On one small desk. And if you think about the time that we were in school, primary school and junior high school, I mean, the desks are so small that when you need to position yourself in a certain way to write,
I had a chair to myself.
It's even difficult for you.
I had a chair and a table to myself.
Yes.
So this one, I don't understand this problem. Anyway, let's take a look at this report that was filed for us by our Northern Regional correspondent. We'll come back and we'll delve into some conversations.
Yong, Dakpemyili Primary and JHS is in a state of crisis as its crumbling infrastructure and lack of essential resources threaten Ghana's efforts to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals SDG for education. The school is riddled with deep structural cracks and damaged walls, while the acute shortage of furniture forces students and teachers to endure dangerous and uncomfortable conditions that disrupt learning. Classrooms are marked by large visible cracks, turning them into potential hazards for students and staff. Many students have no choice but to sit on the floor or share broken desks, making learning not only uncomfortable but also difficult to focus on. Several students expressed their frustration in an interview with ChannelOne TV.
There are so many cracks on the walls and on the floors. When we are going to learn, we are afraid to learn and we may think it may fall on us. And even when it's raining, we are so much afraid. We cannot sit. And there is also few furnitures for us to learn. 4 or 3 people can sit in one chair and it may squeeze us, so we are not comfortable with this furniture and classrooms we are. Our school, there is so many problems about the classes. On the floor, there are very holes and cracks on the walls too. And when you are in there, the place is so messed of cracks. And we need government and NGOs to come and help us. I watch on TV, I see how nice other sites schools are, but our own is like they forgot of us and just left like that.
Teachers are also struggling under these circumstances. Musa Conlan, a teacher at Yong Dakpemyili RC Primary School, shared that the school's poor state makes teaching nearly impossible, especially on rainy days. He explained that students are often sent home when rain is expected because the classroom blocks are not fit for use in such conditions.
What I realized about the school is the deplorable nature of the school. There are so many cracks on the wall, you see even on the floor, a whole lot of problems. We don't even have enough furniture. Despite the fact that enrollment has increased and the children are more like that, the furniture is not enough for them. And Action Aid came to our aid and provided some furniture, but it's not enough. So it's really affecting our teaching and learning, especially the cracks and then other things. So like whenever it's about to rain, you have to let the children go or even they don't even come at all.
The science teacher at Yong Dakpemyili JHS also commented on the abandoned teachers' bungalow, which has been vacated for safety concerns. He explained that teachers who once lived there have moved to rented accommodations or their family homes, leading to frequent lateness. He called for immediate action to address these pressing issues.
I used to stay here on campus in this, quarters last year, but due to the deplorable nature of the compound or the structure, I ran away because looking at the cracks on it, if you stay here, normally when it rains, you will get to realize that even parts of the walls are going down. They keep on going down, they fall. So looking at this thing, I said, no, I have to run back home. Not only me, I was here with one lady, Madam Sakina, and due to such cracks, she has even looked for a different school. She has moved on. She's no more a teacher here. So if we could get a support, then I think I can come back again.
Another challenge faced by the school is the lack of support for government school feeding program, which was intended to boost enrollment. According to Mr. Conlan, caterers have stopped providing meals due to unpaid arrears, which has negatively affected students' attendance.
We have school feeding in this school. It's not been consistent and it's affecting enrollment, especially basic 3 up to the KG. Whenever they come and realize there's not going to be food for them, they just go back. They don't even come to school at all. Even some don't even come. When they just peep and see that they are not cooking, then they go back. Some don't even come at all. So want government to try and increase the school feeding and let the school feeding caterers to give them their whatever is concerned. Like they should come and then also cook for the children, and then we can get enough enrollment for the children.
At the Yong, Dakpemyili, RC, primary and JHS, students and teachers are grappling with this bad state of their classroom with deep cracks on the walls and also on the floor, both inside and outside of the classroom. According to them, this is life-threatening, and when they even sit in class to learn or to teach, they fear for their life. Of course, we are in rainy season, and some of these rains are usually preceded by heavy winds, and they fear that one of these days they could just be in class and the building may just collapse on them. They want government to do something urgently to put their facility into a very good state, so teaching and learning can go on with a very good state of mind. They tell ChannelOne News that for lack of furniture, students are forced to actually purge when it comes to the use of furniture in classes, and you can see 3 or 4 people sitting on one furniture to acquire knowledge. Of course, the school feeding catering or school feeding program is also having a huge toll on attendance in the Yong Dakpemyili RC. Of course, they tell ChannelOne News that days that the caterers are in school are days for high enrollment, and days that they don't come are days where they record very low enrollment. This is because some of the children come to school without their parents having to give them any money for feeding, because they rely greatly on the school feeding program. So they want government to do something urgently to make sure that these caterers are back and their infrastructure is in good shape, whilst they also get a very good quarters, because they complain to us that the teachers' quarters that is here is in a very bad state, and of course walls even shake when there is a heavy storm. Due to this, teachers who were actually staying here had to leave to go and find a place to rent, which also costs them some hours to be able to get to school.
That's a report filed by our very own Shawana Yusuf, our Northern Regional Correspondent right here at ChannelOne TV, as well as City 97.3 FM.
It's very disheartening.
No child deserves to go through this.
No. So Shawana has joined us on the line. Shawana, good morning. Hello, good morning. Shawana?
Yeah, hello.
Yes, welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you so much.
All right, so there seems to be quite a number of problems as far as this school is concerned. So we see the infrastructure is a major issue. The teachers, a place for them to be comfortable, and all of that is a problem. And then also the issue of school feeding. The school feeding challenges seems to also be an issue. Have you been able to speak to any persons that are responsible, duty bearers and so on, to find out from them what their plans are as far as resolving these issues are concerned?
Okay, thank you so much, David. So I tried actually getting authorities to talk to, i.e. the assembly party for the area, to get to know what he has been doing all this while with regards to the plight of these students and the management of the school. But unfortunately, when I tried getting in touch with the assembly member, he told me he was not in town and he didn't know when he was coming. I opted for a phone interview, but it still didn't yield results. So fast forward, I tried also talking to the Sanarivo Municipal Education Office, where this particular institution falls under. But I was told the person who addressed me wasn't there. You know how all these things work out. So we didn't get the right authorities to actually talk to us on this matter.
Yeah, so in your experience, how bad is this school compared to some of the other schools that you've looked at and worked with?
Okay. if you listen to the story, at some point you will notice one of the students mentioned that she's been watching the schools in Accra on television and even some of the schools in the region, and they feel they've been abandoned. Their school is so terrible such that if it is cloudy and the clouds form and if it's threatening to rain, the only option teachers have is to allow these students to go home because of the fear of the building coming down on them. The cracks on these buildings are so deep so that they feel unsafe sitting under it. Unfortunately for them, that is the only source of education within the particular locality.
Yeah.
If you talk about the cracks on the floor, it's also another thing. Imagine sitting in a classroom and then the floor is cracked. There are a lot of deep cracks on the floor, and there is dust. It now produces dust. I mean, it's not healthy for these children, but that is the circumstance under which they find themselves. Most of these classrooms don't even have windows. Some of them don't have doors.
Yeah.
According to them, school authorities have done their best to contribute to make things work, but it looks like they are not able to do all. So as it stands, they are just managing what is available, and they are hoping help comes soon to salvage the situation.
Okay. Now, Shawana, just to help those of us who don't live up north to understand what we're talking about here, where exactly is Yong Dakpemyili?
Yong Dakpemyili is in Tamale, is located about 600 meters away from the DVLA runabout, one of the major runabouts located on the Tamale stretch. So it is not too far from the heart of Tamale. But this is what these children are facing. And you can imagine if you have to travel further to remote areas. Yes, so this is not too far from Tamale. If you have to ride from Tamale business, the central business district of Tamale to Yong Dakpemyili, it should be taking you less than 30 minutes to get to the place.
Okay.
But this is a situation of the students who study from this particular community.
Shawana, so I'm very curious. We've seen lots of reports coming, especially from up north, about schools in these kind of conditions. What could be the problem there? Is it that the northern sector or the education ministry in the northern sector is not doing something right? Because we've seen lots of reports about these issues coming from the northern region.
Well, for me, I would say probably it has to do more with priority. Maybe authorities are not paying keen attention to education and the facilities that people would need. If we have a school infrastructure that has lasted for over 30, 40 years, over 25 years, and there is not any major renovation work undertaken on these facilities, this is what we are definitely going to experience. I think our duty bearers just have it in mind that there is a school there, but as to what the status of the school is, whether it is befitting enough, I feel attention is not actually being given to that. So mostly for me, from my point of view, I think that is what the challenge is.
Right. And the parents of these students, have you been able to engage some of them? What are their thoughts? Because if you are sending your child to school in this kind of a condition or the state of a school building like this, it's quite like it's a concern. Have you been able to engage any of them?
Thank you. So if you remember, this is the same school I did a story regarding the sanitation situation where the community was taking over their toilet facilities.
Oh, wow.
Right.
This Yong Dakpemyili community is made up mostly of farmers, and I mean, it's not people who actually farm in large quantities. So, due to poverty levels, most of the parents are not able to do much. This is even a school. Children have to run to school to get something to eat because they feel it is a place there is food for them to eat. So when they come to school and school feeding is not happening, they decide whether they want to sit for classes or they want to go back home. One of the teachers who spoke to us tells us that school feeding is one driver of school attendance at Yong, Dakpemyili, primary and JHS. But unfortunately, the caterers are not in school. And so as we speak now, caterers are still not in school to give them the food. So attendance is not really encouraging day in, day out.
What?
So the status of the parents don't really permit them to do more or to do much so far as taking care of these facilities are concerned.
Yeah. As far as the school feeding is concerned, what seems to be the problem? Because I know that not too long ago, there was a lot of noise and uproar about school feeding, and then some of them got paid. So what's the issue?
From what the teachers are telling me, the caterer for their school is not coming because there are a lot of areas that need to be cleared on the part of government. But I couldn't get to talk to the person because the person to get me the number of the caterer was not available. And they were even telling me the last time somebody tried to interview them, they were staying away from the camera. But from what I say, there is a lot of debt that they need to clear for them to be able to come to provide school feeding services to these children at Yong, Dakpemyili.
All right. Shawana, thank you very much for that report that you brought to us.
Thank
and
you
thank
so
you
much
for
for
speaking to
having
us this
me.
morning as well. So that's Shawana Yusuf. She is our Northern Regional Correspondent, bringing us a very important report and throwing light on an area where there's a huge challenge as far as education is concerned. This school is part of Tamale. It's in Tamale. It's not in the outskirts. It's not in a village somewhere. It's in Tamale, So it's very important for us to get serious, And the fact that we are having various duty bearers running away from speaking to the issue is also worrying. Of course, if you don't have answers, what are you going to say? But I think that we're calling on Dr. Mr. Duchu, the Minister of Education, Honorable Duchu, to ask your people on the ground what's going on there. This is a very disheartening situation, And the District Assembly, what are you doing? What's going on here? I don't understand. I mean, I wish we really could talk to the DCE there, because infrastructure in your space is under your watch. So really, it's unacceptable that it should be happening. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break. When we're back, we have some more conversations to be had.